I'm Louis Linker, and this is my bride, Janelle, known as Jan mostly.
And yo-yo to some.
Oh, yes, forgot grandkids call her Yo Yo, and now many other kids call her Yo Yo. She has a nickname that apparently has stuck to her. We enjoy going on cruises. Um, I like, over the years, I've enjoyed college basketball. We traveled with the NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, for over 20 years and had a lot of fun doing that. I like taking trips, just driving trips. If you don't have to fly and you got time, it's kind of nice to just drive and take your time. And I enjoy that. We watch a lot of sports on TV, and thankfully, my wife likes that as well. So there's not very many fights over the remote.
Well, as you can see, I love paintings. If this shows up behind me, I do some painting. I just haven't really done it since we've lived here because this house is so small that I can't get all the stuff out and then accomplish anything because I need that space for something else. But I enjoy collecting paintings and I enjoy art quite a bit. Um, what I just like being with family, I guess, when it comes down to it. Um, we love the people in the church and we love fellowshipping and Sunday school and I like being with people. It gives me energy.
Well, I started going to church 9 months before I was born, since my dad was a pastor, a Nazarene pastor. And so I have been involved in the church for my whole life. Um, I remember when my dad's first pastorate was in Prineville, Oregon. And I can remember feeling, even then, I was first grade and younger, my need to have Jesus in my life. So that goes back a couple of years that I do remember that. And wherever we have been privileged to live, um, I had the same pastor for 18 years. But then since Jan and I have gotten married, every church that we've been privileged to attend, we found places to be able to be of service and serve in many different uh, capacities. Um, Jan always was much better with teens. I function better with either little kids or older adults. So we've always found a place to serve and have considered it a privilege wherever we have, and we've made wonderful friends from every church that we've been a part of. Whether if you ask me the day and the time, I don't have a specific day and the time. I know I've accepted Christ, but which is not everyone's same journey, but that's kind of where I have come from.
Well, my faith journey is really different. I didn't grow up in a home that loved the Lord. Um, I think my dad did, but I'm not sure. Jesus wasn't shared in my home, and I grew up without Jesus in my life and made some decisions that caused some great consternation in my life. And I was teaching school in Nampa, and I met Louis. He was my student teacher, and he had something that I knew was different. So as we got to know each other, I found out he loved Jesus. And so I wanted to know more about this Jesus thing. And there came a time when he told me he couldn't be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. And I was pretty appalled by that. Like he thought he was a holy roller and he was better than me.
And she
So
said that, by the way.
we parted company and went kind of our own ways for a bit. And I still wanted what he had. I wasn't quite sure what it was. And I found myself back in Nampa First Church of the Nazarene, sitting in the back row. Not going to say sinners sit there, but I was a sinner. And when there was a call to come forward if you wanted to know this Jesus, I did. And I found myself walking down the aisle. And I gave my life to Christ, and I've never turned back. But for me, I think Jesus knew what I needed so that he would mark me as his very own. And when I was walking back up the aisle, I was like a neon sign, like, whoa, I felt like I was on and off and like a light bulb. But I think Jesus knew I needed that. So I would know I belonged to him. And he's has been faithful, faithful my whole life. Had some really hard things in my life, some of it my own choosing. And I know that I know that I know I want to be more like Jesus. I, I want to know what it's like to love like Jesus. And I want to live like Jesus wants me to live. And my God has been faithful no matter what I've done. And folks, you're looking at a sinner saved by grace.
As Jen just mentioned, God has been faithful with for us, to us, all of our married life. And as she alluded to some difficult times that we experienced over the years. Probably first of all, when Keegan had his cancer, was pretty devastating when the doctor says, I see some nodules. We knew exactly what that meant because of the possibility of retinoblastoma, and God was with us and saw fit to save Keegan.
Right.
Somebody had said, write down what you want God to do for you. We wrote it on a card and stuck it in our Bible, and many years later, everything that we had put on that card had been fulfilled and had come to pass as it related to Keegan's cancer. I don't want to steal Keegan and Jamie's, but being with the family in general during Johnson's illness and the death of our daughter was really hard. People in this church were a part of helping us through that difficult time.
It's been 50 years. And I look back on those years and God has been faithful. I want everyone to know that you're as close to God as you want to be. The closer I want to be with him because I know he's faithful. I was married before Lewis, so I have 2 other boys. And God has blessed that relationship with our 2 boys and our daughter Kenna. And they all seem to be just family when we're together. And that so is a blessing to my heart. But that's another story where God brought me through because he is faithful. And of course, Lewis talked about the death of our daughter. And, you know, every day you think about him. But it was a blessing to know that God was with us through the hard times. He never promises that because you love him, that life will be easy. But he always says he'll walk with it through you, with you. And we are giving a testimony of the faithfulness of God in so many ways. And, you know, let's go out to coffee sometime and we'll tell you more about what God's done in our life. But hard times come, but God is faithful. He is the breath of life for us. And I know again. And family is everything. Have you been praying for someone that you want to be brought into the fold of Jesus? Don't give up. It'll happen. Keep praying. We have family and friends that we're praying for, and we will never stop because God is at work when you don't even know it. So don't give up. So here we are 50 years later, and we are a testimony to the faithfulness of God.